So here's a question I get: what to do with old cheese boxes? I get a lot of emails and messages on what to do with old cheese boxes. Now, I'm kind of particular when I'm picking up a cheese box to redo, like the large, skinnier, round ones. They're great for decor. They're great for sitting on their side, using them as wall decor, using the lid for something else, making them into a riser, making them into some type of a tray to gather stuff around. But when I saw these cheese boxes at a flea market, I'm like, oh my gosh, they are so close to the old antique primitive pantry boxes, because instead of staples, they have these beautiful nails, but the patina's not there. They're too new looking. They haven't been touched enough. They haven't been used enough. So how can we get these to look like old primitive pantry boxes? I'm sure some of you that are watching are like, what is a pantry box? It was your Rubbermaid. It was your lock and seal. It was your Ziploc back in the day. This is what they stored food in, and they go for very good money. And as you see, they're rather rough. So I'm going to share with you my idea for getting these to look a little bit more on the antique side than the new side by doing some work to them. I'm not going to be painting these. We're going to be doing a mixture of waxes and stains. But the first thing we need to do is we need to get that rough texture. If this was an old pantry box that had been used over and over again, it would be smooth. So right now there's a ton of texture on it that just doesn't feel like a vintage item. Get my ear protection on, because this is it's loud. Sanding is loud. So the pantry boxes would have been grabbed. So this part would have been rounded. Like when I run my hand at this part that's all rough, it's flat. It's not rounded. But what I'm doing with the sander is I'm taking it down and rounding that. So all those times that it would have been touched, it's more of a rounded edge than a flat squared off edge. So I'm going to go through the feel test, see if I have any more sharp edges or if it's rounded the most. Now you can really tell the difference, the rounded on that one, the rough texture on that one, even the inside. You can see how it's more rounded now than that flat squared off newer piece. And it really took minutes to do that. It really didn't take very long. But I think that's like the key factor to getting it to look a little bit more on the vintage antique side. So we have to do this piece too. My vacuum really won't fit inside, so it's going to be messy for a second. And I can't really get into these corners, so I'm going to have to try to hand sand to take that texture down. Especially here where you can really see the wood splitting. So that's already a humongous difference just sanding it smooth. I'm kind of keeping this one as a comparison. Like the rough edges are taken off so that they're rounded down so they look like they've been touched more. Nice and smooth. I don't feel like I'm going to get a sliver now inside and out. So to start off with, to get the whole thing colored, because it's a light wood and there's no age or anything like that, I'm going to start off with Restore and Finish. Love this product. It's going to soak into that wood. It's going to get depth of color. I'm going to do the inside first, because what if I don't like it? Now, old pantry boxes are usually a reddish, like a dark. Like I said, this is just I'm just getting this on. We're adding some color to it, and then we're going to play around with other products to really get it. Like these are different woods you can see, so they're going to take differently. And I don't just want to pour it on because I don't want it to like take darker and like one area. This is really, oop, I didn't want to do that. This is really porous wood. So the thing I don't want to miss out on is those little hidden cracks, crevices. So I'll just stick a paintbrush in there. That'll be kind of a dead giveaway that, oh, somebody tried to make this look old. Well, I am trying to make it look old. Because pantry boxes, depending on their age and how primitive they look, can go into the hundreds of dollars. And they are not terribly native to my area in Michigan. So, okay, so I'll show you this when I get it colored. That's already a humongous difference. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to do this side and then we'll start playing with wax. Pretty fun seeing the transformation. So this is just the Howard's wax. So one as natural as it gets as a cheese box. So we're really starting to add some age onto this. I have my 3 fusion waxes. I've got antiquing wax, black, and aging wax. I'm going to start off with the antiquing wax because I do think it may have a little goldie in it. It may. So I'm going to start off on my bottom because what if I don't like it? So that's going to start darkening it up. It's going to start filling in those crevices. That gives that old piece that nice soft touch. Like it's been touched 100 times. The color is fine. So this one has like this light spot that just would not sand. Sometimes you got to work with what you have. So let's do comparison wax, not antiquing wax. So a little bit darker. Definitely a lot smoother getting that filled in with some wax. I do feel like old pantry boxes are a little bit redder back then than they we kind of like it today. So in my arsenal, I still have some Waverly antiquing wax. I haven't used this in a while, but I know that this has that reddish hue to it, so I'm going to give that a try. Still want to add more dark spots here and there, but I'm still looking for a little bit different base color. And that one goes on more almost like a deeper paint. See how it's already reddening it up. With the antiquing wax by Waverly, and then this without. So you can see it's a lot thicker than the other waxes, and it's got a little bit of that reddish hue to it. So this is just going to be I'm working on everything layer by layer as everything's not completely cured, not dry yet. So it's all blending wonderfully, soaking in. I have gloves on, but I can feel how soft that this is. It just is a totally different piece now. So I have Jolie's black wax. And now I'm not going to necessarily do the inside, but I'm just going to grab those areas that would be touch the most, and it's just by fading it in, like the banding on this, like didn't really want to like accept the restore and finish. So I'm just going to force it to take on the black wax. That just, oh my gosh, that's just topping it right off. Oh. Because of course you would touch the lid a lot. I don't want the wax to be stuck in there, but I do want it to be colored. Definitely made a difference blending that in. Oh my goodness, look at that. Does that even look like the same cheese box anymore? So next, I have this bucket, Firkin sugar bucket, newer, raw wood, lots and lots of staining going on, but I think that's going to add character, but we need to dark it. The metal has rusted, doesn't matter. But I'm not really going to sand it too awful much, as is I'm going to round, as you can see, that is very straight. So bottom is straight. So if these pieces were going to be used, bond used, they would have been a lot more rounded. So that's the look I'm going to go for. Even on the little dowels that hold the handle up, we'll get the sander going again. So I have those edges rounded like it's been used. I even rounded like the edges on the handle so it's not so sharp. And then on the bottom. So the step I'm going to skip on this one, since it already has a little bit of patina going on, I'm not going to use the Howard's Restore. I'm going to go ahead and skip right over to the Waverly. Luckily, I had a new bottle on hand. Waverly Antiquing Wax to add that gold in there, and then tweak it from there. She painted a lot of these buckets up, so it's neat. This is my first time staining them up, trying to make them look old, y'all. So don't think that this is something I do all the time. Right over the metal, not worried about that. The metal take what the metal will take. Just trying to make it look older than it is. That raw wood is just going to soak that in. And I'm hoping that with just the Waverly on there and not the Howard's Restore walnut that I was using, that it'll get a little bit more of that red color. And then I can see the difference between techniques. That's the other fun of doing things. It's just testing things out, seeing what works better. Or what color you like, or not making everything always just be the exact same. Definitely has the Goldie to it. I hope it's showing up on camera. Dip my paintbrush. Get in around that area that you just can't get into. Getting into is the easy part. Let's see, wiping off and blending in will be. These shop racks actually are pretty darn tough. Like a paper towel might break, but these shop rags don't, and they're lint free. So I've kind of switched over to using those, and those have worked out wonderfully. As I said, yes, I'm doing the inside too. I'll have to take the paintbrush, trying to get into the cracks, crevices in there, but at least it'll match the outside. Okay, Waverly wax is on. Totally new bucket here. Oh my goodness. So now, still wet. I'm working on it while it's still wet. We're going to add, where'd it go? I'm going to add the Jolie's wax to it on the edges. Give it that fun age. I do really think the black wax is what just takes it to the next level. And I know black wax can be scary. But you just buff it because you're working with all your waxes while they're still wet. Look at how that just blended in. Oh, Lordy. Love it. Yeah, see? And then without it, kind of with it. Oh, yeah. So I kind of went down inside a little bit too, just a little bit. And we will do the handle. Just here and there where the seams are. Where the two wood pieces of wood are meeting. And then along where the metal rim is. So why I still have all my stains out, I do have one more firkin, but I have this little guy. He's got one band of metal around him. He doesn't have a lid, doesn't have a handle, but he just looks really new. So I don't think there's a ton of top coat on there. So I was thinking that I could do the same like with the black wax on this. It's already gold, it's already new looking. So my hope is that I can put black wax on this, give it some age, a little bit more character. Okay, so just the Jolie's black wax. I'm going to start off at the bottom, see what it does, because once this cures and dries, it's hard and it's on there. So I think that's the problem with this little bucket. It just looks so new. And then unfortunately I get that wax all over, and that's okay. I'll blend it. Oh yeah, it's staying on there. It's not just wiping off. That was what I was afraid of, is I just put it on and it would have too much top coat and it would just come off, but it's not. So it's definitely giving added character, added depth to the piece. So I'll just keep working on it. I'm gonna do just like I did on the previous piece, and then darken up the seams, and then where the band is. Oh my goodness, that just added so much character to it. So can you tell from the top to the bottom how the wax sticks in the crack of the two pieces of wood coming up together, and just darkens it, gives it character, all the little imperfections, the flaws the wax sticks into. Wax kind of builds up by the metal banding. So it just adds some age to the piece. You have to see what it's doing to the inside. So the inside's just but with the wax, oh my goodness. So now I have this firkin, though. I wish that these were nails. That's what really tells you that it's a newer piece, is that it's stapled. So it is raw wood, very raw. I'm going to add a little bit of character to it by sanding it, because it is got those sharp edges. I'm not going to sand the whole thing, just like the edges where I want to have some age on there. Okay, so I'm going to test out just doing the black wax. What do you think? I've got the other waxes laying here if I need them. Just curious. It's fun to play, right? Right? So just straight black wax. I love Jolie's black wax. You know, when you see firkins and sugar buckets and stuff like that, they're not all the same colors or tones or patinas. And it's going to be so dramatic because this one is so light. What do you think? It's kind of scary when you see the other, but I think I'm going to like it. Of course, the two different woods are going to take differently, but that's character. Oh. Okay, I'll finish it up and then I'll share it with you. character. Look at that character that it just gave that. I like the two tones of the different wood actually. So it's hard to believe that is black wax. Does it look black?